Hey guys, it's Bendy, and I wanted to make this video to express a lot of the trauma I have gone through. So there is a lot of stuff that I want to go over, and I wanted to make this video not for sympathy. I'm making that very clear. I don't want to be pitied. I don't want sympathy. I don't want to, oh, I'm sorry, Bendy. I didn't know that you went through that. I'm so sorry that you have been through so much. No, I don't want that. I want to make this video to be an advocate for other people, for other survivors of abuse, for other people that are struggling with their faith, for other people that have gone through the ringer and have survived it. So I am going to give a disclaimer of a trigger warning before I start. So to start this off, if any of these things are triggers to you, I would suggest not watching the video because I don't want you to have a panic attack. I don't want you to have anxiety. I don't want to trigger you more than you are already triggered. So I want what is best for you. So I'm just going to let you know that there are some triggering things I'm going to talk about. So to start off, some of the trigger warnings are going to be about drug abuse, suicide, abandonment, physical and mental abuse, and abandonment. So there's probably a couple other trigger warnings I'm going to possibly be bringing up, but I can't think of them off the top of my head. So to start off, when I was 4 years old, my father had beaten me so substantially bad that I was hospitalized for 2 weeks. I am not going to show you guys the pictures of the bruises. I don't have the pictures anymore. I have seen them. A lot of them are in private areas, so I wouldn't be comfortable with sharing the pictures anyways. But they are substantially bad. So, oh, my computer glitched. Well, I guess I'm not showing you guys the picture anymore. So, moving on to the next thing. When he beat me, he only got charged with, mandatory parental classes for about 6 months. And then my parents divorced whenever I was 5. So my mom stayed with him for another year after he did that. And the reason why they divorced is because he broke her jaw. So after that happened, my mom moved in with my abusive grandmother. And after that, she got into narcotics. I'm trying to use words that YouTube will not ban me over. She OD'd when I was 13. And my sorry, it's hard for me to talk about all this. Right after my mom passed away, my father stepped back into the picture. And My abusive grandmother fought for custody of us because she wanted our money. Both of them wanted our money. They didn't care about us. They wanted us to clean their house and our money. So they didn't care about our education. They didn't care about our well-being. They didn't care about us growing up in godly homes. They didn't care about anything. They just cared about themselves. So, what was the tipping point for everything was my sister told my stepmother, who my father remarried directly after my parents divorced. My sister told her that she wanted to go back to the life she knew. And my stepmother berated her for saying that. And I stepped in to defend my sister. And my stepmother came at me and said if my father knew I'd be born disabled, he would have had me aborted. This is part of the reason I am 110% pro-life. I will always stand up for babies. I believe that babies are gifts from God. I don't care what situation it is, but I am pro-life 100%. So, moving on to growing up. After my grandmother told my father that he doesn't have to pay child support if he gave up trying to fight for us. He just simply gave up. So he never called us. He never sent us a birthday card. He never did anything. I tried contacting him when I turned 20 or 23. And he made it very clear after 6 months he didn't want me in his life. So, from age 14 till 18, or age 20, I had lived under the dictatorship of my abusive grandmother. I will say her name. Her name was Janet. And I prefer to call her Janet. So, Janet had rained hell on me. Sorry for using that word, but she rained hell on my life. She expected me to clean everything. She taught me how to mow the grass at 7 years old, and we lived on a hill. So, she expected me to mow right after it rained, and I often slipped and almost went under the mower. It was a push mower. Many times because I slipped on the wet hill. I mean, she expected me to mow once a week. It was not fair to me. It took me 3 hours and it was just not fair. No, my sisters were never expected to do any yard work. It was always just me. I was always stuck with the kitchen duties, the bathroom duties, and taking care of the dog, while my sisters had their own jobs, and I was never allowed to go out and get a job. I made it clear that I wanted a job, but I was never allowed to go out and get one. And even if I did, and I had a small volunteer job, I never saw any of that money that I had coming in. My abusive grandmother had taken that. And I tried filing it in court, but she took receipts that she stole off of shopping carts and said that she used it on me. And the courts believed her. So, When I turned 18, I tried to leave home because I was sick of the abuse. I was always told I would never add up to anything. I was always told that I would never have my own place. I would never be able to drive. I would never have my own cat. I would never live independently. I would never be able to do anything on my own. I'd never be able to cook. I would always be someone's cleaning little servant. If I had a job, I'd be a janitor, at most. So I tried to leave home at 18. My abusive grandmother went to the courts and registered me as legally incompetent, which means that I am too disabled to take care of myself. She had put on paper that I can't shower by myself, I can't cut up my own food, I can't cook for myself, I can't do anything by myself. She pretty much put that I couldn't even wipe my own butt. And the courts believed her. I tried expressing to them I'm more than capable of doing all these things on my own, but they took her word for it. So, when I turned 20, I made sure to throw a big enough stink that they kicked me out of her house. They put me in group home after group home after group home after group home, and then a hospital, and then a nursing home, and then group home after group home after group home. And then she got tired of me having to move everywhere because I wasn't going to tolerate being mistreated. I wasn't going to tolerate living with strangers that was going to throw tantrums and poop themselves and throw feces around like monkeys. I wasn't going to tolerate it. I wasn't going to live a life like that. It wasn't fair to me. So I had it. So I finally threw enough of a fit every single day, all day, every day, to the point that she got tired of it and acted like the problem that she believed I was. And she finally gave up the guardianship of me. My other grandmother stepped in and became my guardian. She got me an apartment, and I started living on my own. Eventually, I no longer needed staff, and I started living completely independently. I still have electronic staff, but it's not as bad as it once was. So, I'm going to get into the topic of God now. So, I had become a lesbian pagan. And I had full disdain for God for at least 10 years. I grew up in the church. I grew up being raised by God. With God. Not by God, but with God. And whenever I started being full-on abused every single day, I blamed God for all of it. I questioned, why would he allow this? Why would he allow me to suffer like this? But now I understand. He allowed me to suffer and hurt, to advocate for others. He allowed me to go through so much pain and suffering, because if I can go through this much, and still worship him and still look at him with so much love and compassion as I do, and tell people about how much he means to me, and try to get others to come back to him. I hope that this resonates with somebody. Even if it's just one person. I was a pagan. I was a lesbian. I thought I was supposed to be a boy. I cut off all my hair 5 years ago. I shaved my head. Let me pull up that picture. Because that thing had canceled out my page. So give me 1 second. I'm going to show you that picture of me with a shaved head. Because I want you guys to see what I used to be. Where's it at? That's what I was 5 years ago. I was fully part of Pride. I wore Pride bandanas. This is the person I used to be. I wore a girdle. Let me show it to you. I still have it. It doesn't fit me anymore because I gained a lot of weight. Let me set this up. But I used to wear this. Yeah, this doesn't fit whatsoever. I used to wear this wrapped around my chest to flatten myself. Let's see if I can get the straps at least. Yeah, this would flatten me. Yeah, this does not fit whatsoever because I gained so much weight from what I used to be. So, yeah. I used to be a lesbian pagan. I used to think I was supposed to be a boy. I used to think I was supposed to be a lot of things that I'm not. And God stepped in and saved me. I'm going to tell you that God does exist. And how I know he exists is that at my lowest, I was laying in bed. And I recognized that being pagan is a sin. Being a lesbian is a sin. Thinking you're supposed to be a boy and cutting off all your hair and doing everything that I did is a sin. And I was thinking, I'm too far gone. I'm worshiping the devil. I'm doing everything that's absolutely horrendous. I full on cried my heart out and repented. And I told God, please, if I am still your child, give me a sign. Tell me I'm okay. Tell me I'm your child. Tell me everything's going to be okay. So I went to church a couple days later, and I met a man named Joe. He came up to me. This church has over 5,000 people. I never met him before. And he calls me by my first name and tells me everything I prayed that night. In front of everyone, I fall to my knees and I just sob. he gets on his knees and he embraces me. Ever since then, I have not turned back. And I pray that my message gets through to somebody. Anybody. Because Jesus loves you. And he's coming soon. And I don't want you guys left behind. I'm worried about you guys. I have a lot of people that come up to me in the game and tell me that, free Palestine, oh, you're a weirdo, oh, you're a baby killer, oh, you're this, oh, you're that. Like, I don't know what's wrong with people. Yeah, I stand with Israel. And I'm not ashamed of that. God's going to break his covenant with them soon, whenever they measure measure heaven. But he's going to make a new covenant with them. But I stand with the Lord. Anyone that curses Israel will be cursed. Anyone that blesses Israel will be blessed. That's in the Bible. And I'm not going to be cursed. So, God bless Israel. God bless you. I love you guys. If you stayed for the whole video, I love you guys. I know that this is long. It's 22 minutes long, but I needed to get this out. I don't want sympathy. I don't want you guys going, oh, Bendy, I'm so sorry. I didn't know that you went through what you went. Sorry, my aunt was trying to call. I don't want you guys to, I don't want you guys to go, oh, Bendy, I didn't know you went through what you went through. I'm so sorry. No, I don't want sympathy. I don't want pity. I don't want anything. I made this video for people to get closer to God and to be an advocate for others, so they know that they can be comfortable with me. So, I've been through some stuff. And if you are going through stuff yourself, come up and talk to me. I'm always an open ear to listen. And I'm always here to listen. So, I love you guys. Bendy out.